All right, for most of you, this video will serve as a refresher for the opening script and the dialer. For those agents not familiar, we're going to be going through the opening script, which serves as part one of the closing script. It's actually 1/3 of the closing script. We're then going to be diving into the dialer, showing you how it works, as well as the web form so you can submit deals. Now, I know this process seems overwhelming. We're going to take it piece by piece and allow you to create a foundation and build on it brick by brick. First thing we're going to do is review the script, toggling back and forth between the script and the guide. We're going to be going deep into the guide starting on the next video. Today is just about creating the foundation and showing you the basics of the dialer. I'm going to start by delivering the opening script and then break it down for you. Just keep in mind that this will not work if you don't have a hard copy of the script in your hand. It will not work if you're trying to take shortcuts and read it from a computer screen. We're going to be going over and over and over that again. Now, you're going to notice on page 1 of the script, we have the rules to succeed. We're going to be talking about that in depth starting tomorrow. You'll also notice that we have a timeline. This is when you're expected to get to certain sections of the script. And then you'll notice that the script itself is color coordinated, starting with dark green. Dark green means I want you to speed through it. Think of these as traffic signs. Yellow is not part of this script. It's my instructions to the agent. You'll see a few of these. These are called tie downs. They're in green. They are part of the script and must be said. It is mandatory that you say them. And then what you see in purple are built-in rebuttals. They're not necessarily part of the script. They're there because you're going to use them at that point in the script if a customer responds a certain way. If they don't use them. All right, so let's get through. Hi, my name is David. I'm calling from Sunlight Solar. What we're doing is calling people that are interested in lowering their electric bill by as much as 60% by possibly switching to solar. Let's face it, each year electric bills increase by an average of 16% or more, depending on your location. Also, your electric bill varies month to month, which can sometimes make it hard to manage a budget. What if we can show you a different approach where you can actually save money and your payment will remain the same each month? Would you be interested in finding out more? You would. Great. So my job's not to sell you anything, but rather to educate you on possibly switching to solar and see if you qualify. If you do, we're then going to create a professional, no cost, no obligation proposal for you. It's going to show you exactly how much you can save or even earn by going solar. Does that sound fair? Great. Now, this call being recorded for training compliance purposes. So the first step is to see if you qualify by asking you some very simple questions. Do you own the property or do you rent it? Do you own it? Okay. And what type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, manufactured home, or mobile home? Single family, perfect. And what would you say your average monthly electric bill is if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher than in the winter? About $185. Wow, that seems a lot. That's exactly why we're calling. So looks like you qualify. Now, if we can show you how there'll be no upfront cost to you while allowing you to dramatically lower or even eliminate your electric bill completely, would you be interested in finding out more? You would. Awesome. I have a specialist on the line that can start the process for you. Please stay on the line while I transfer you. Thank you and have a nice day. That's it. That's the script. It is only 16 sentences long. Now, you notice I was very specific in how I asked those questions. I did not take shortcuts by saying, do you live in a single family residence? I did not take shortcuts. Is your electric bill over $100? I did not ask how you are doing. I did not ask, can you hear me? As we go into the training, you're going to find out why that is. Now, getting back to this timeline here, we expect you to ask the first question, which is, do you own the property or do you rent it? We expect you to ask that question within 20 to 25 seconds, starting from when the call started. We want you to finish with question 3, how much is your electric bill if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher than in the winter, between 30 and 45 seconds. And we want you to finish the script between 60 and 90 seconds. If you don't finish the script within 90 seconds, you are doing something incredibly wrong. Number one, either you're not following the script and making up your own, your pacing is too fast or too slow, and you're having to repeat yourself, wasting valuable time. Or you're wasting too much time with pleasantries by asking, how are you, or can you hear me? Or most likely, you're letting the customer control the conversation. And we'll get into that deeply starting tomorrow. But in general, if someone asks you a question before you know the answer to all 3 of those questions, ignore the question that they're asking. Because what good is it answering their question if you find out later that they don't qualify? You're just wasting valuable time. So let's start with this. You'll notice the first sentence is in dark green. I want you to speed through it as per the directions. Hi, my name's David and I'm calling from Sunlight Solar. It's not important what your name is, and it's not important what the name of the company is. But for legal reasons, you have to say it. So we just want to blow right through it. What we're doing is calling people in your area that are interested in lowering their electric bill by as much as 60% by possibly switching to solar. So number one, we have to explain who we are. And number two, we have to explain why we're calling. And number three, we have to entice them to want to speak to us. Again, everybody hates telemarketers. So we have to figure out a way to get over that hurdle. So we have to say something exciting. let's face it, each year electric bills increase by an average of 16% or more, depending on your location. Also, your electric bill varies month to month, which can sometimes make it hard to manage a budget. What if, notice my instructions to you, pause, let your words breathe. What if we can show you a different approach where you can save money and your payment will remain the same each month? Would you be interested in finding out more? Either they do or they don't. If they don't, you're not interested in saving over 60% on your electric bill? They say no the second time, hang up on them. Again, we're controlling the conversation. So my job's not to sell you anything, but rather to educate you on possibly switching to solar and see if you qualify. If you do, we're then going to create a professional, no cost, no obligation proposal for you. It's going to show you exactly how much you can save or even earn by going solar. Does that sound fair? Again, a tie down, right? This is a tie down. It's a trial close. Number one, you're testing their temperature to see if they're interested. But more importantly, you're giving them the opportunity to speak, breaking up the monotony of you rambling on. Now, I know that this is all new to you. So what we did was we created a recording system where you can listen to my recording paragraph by paragraph, listen to my recording, and then duplicate that recording with your own voice. Then play the recording of me, and then play the recording of you. By doing it that way, you're going to get past that learning curve very, very quickly and understand how the pitch should be delivered. All right. So you're going to play this recording. It's going to be this part of the pitch. The second one is going to be this. Third one is this. Fourth one is this. So it's slide 5, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4. And you're going to go in one by one and learn each paragraph. We have a built-in rebuttal. It's not part of the script, but generally, that's where that question is going to come up from the customer. And this is what you would say. I understand your concern about XYZ, and I'll gladly answer it. Just so I don't waste your valuable time, let me ask you 3 quick questions so I know that you qualify. Notice, do not wait for an answer. Just go right into it. Do you own the property or do you rent it? You own it. Okay. And what type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home, manufactured home? What type of home do you have? Single family. Perfect. And what would you say your average monthly electric bill is if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher than in the winter? And you keep going, right? All right. So they're interested. Great. Now this call may be recorded for training and compliance purposes. So the first step is to see if you qualify by asking you some very simple questions. Do you own the property or do you rent it? It's question number 1. Again, we want you to be here within 20 to 25 seconds. They rent it. Hang up the phone. We can't help them. There's no purpose in continuing. If they own it, continue. What type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, manufactured home, or mobile home? If they say anything but single family residence, hang up. If it's single family residence, continue. Perfect. What is your average monthly electric bill if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summertime it may be higher than in the winter? Anything less than $100, hang up. If it's $100 or more, continue. Okay, so far it looks like you qualify. Now, we can show you how there'll be no upfront cost to you while allowing you to dramatically lower or even eliminate your electric bill completely. Would you be interested in finding out more? Yes, continue. No, find out why. You're interested? Awesome. I have a specialist on the line that can start the process for you. Please stay on the line while I transfer you. Thank you and have a nice day. Don't wait for an answer. Just do it. Right? If they don't qualify, I'm sorry you don't qualify at this time. Goodbye. Real simple. All right, so that was the opening script. Now, the way your script, the closing script, is laid out is a little bit different. Now, we have two different introductions for the closing script. If a call is being transferred, you'd use this introduction. If you're taking a call from start to finish, you're using the same script, the same opening as the opening agents. All right, but instead of transferring the call, you're just going to continue once you find out that they meet all three pre-qualifications and that they're now worth speaking to. All right, so let's talk about transferred calls. Now think about this. The opening agent went through the opening script. Now you want to make sure that, number one, the opening agent did their job and sent somebody over who was interested, cooperative, and met all three pre-qualifications. And number two, in doing so, you want to make sure that this person that you're speaking to is now worth the time that you're going to invest in speaking to them. Because if you get to the end of the script, it's going to take you 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes, depending on the conversation. So you don't want to waste 10, 12, 15 minutes on someone who you cannot help or is not interested or cooperative. So we're going to start. Hi, thanks for your patience. The call is being transferred. They probably waited on pause for a few seconds. So thank you for your patience. My name is David, and I understand you're interested in learning more about solar energy and if it made sense, possibly switching to solar. Is that correct? Great. My job is to see if you qualify. Then we'll create a professional, no cost, no obligation proposal for you. It's going to show you exactly how much you can save or even earn by going solar. Does that sound fair? Great. Now this call may be recorded for training compliance purposes. So the first step is to see if you qualify by asking you some very simple questions. Now, I know the other agent already asked you this, but do you own the property or do you rent it? You own it. Okay, great. What type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile, manufactured home, etc., right? Single family. Perfect. What is your average monthly electric bill if you took a 12-month average, knowing in the summer it may be higher than the winter? All right. So depending on what the circumstance is, either you're taking the call from start to finish or the call is being transferred, you're going to end up in the same place asking the same questions. All right. So that's part one of the closing script. Now, we found the needle in the haystack. We found that interested cooperative person who meets all three pre-qualifications. Now, in doing so, we have to take advantage of our opportunities that get presented to us. Now, we're going to talk about this in detail, but I want you to follow the directions. Part two, it says, stand up, get out of your chair, slow down, and make your words count. Stand up, get out of your chair. Now, we want you to do that for a number of reasons. Number one, from a psychological standpoint, as a telemarketer, you're staring at your computer screen and you're imagining it's the person that you're speaking to. You're speaking to your computer screen. You are eye level with your computer screen. Well, if you're standing up, you're looking down at your computer screen. Therefore, psychologically, you have the leverage. You have the advantage of height. You're looking down at somebody. Would you rather be looking up at somebody getting into a fight, or would you rather be looking down at somebody getting into a fight? You'd rather be looking down at somebody. Exactly. All right. Also, if you're standing up, you're creating motion. Motion creates energy. Your voice changes whether you know it or you don't when you're standing up versus when you're sitting down. When you're sitting down, you're a little bit more relaxed, you're more calm. You may sound as if you may not be interested. Whereas if you're standing up, you're creating motion. Motion creates energy. That energy comes out in your voice. Your voice sounds more energetic. Now, remember, these people can't see you. All they can go by is your voice, the tone in your voice, the energy in your voice, the confidence in your voice. Well, if you're standing up, you sound more energetic and you sound more calm. You sound more confident. So we're going to stand up. As I said, this is a win-win opportunity for you. You're going to have lower electricity bills that are fixed payment that does not go up or down each month. The US government also wants you to go solar for two reasons. Number one, to help save the environment, and number two, to help spur the economy. In fact, they want it so badly that they are going to pay for 30% of the cost by issuing tax incentives. That means that 30%, it's not going to cost you anything up front, and it won't cost you anything out of your pocket for the installation either. In addition, some of the states and local governments are also issuing additional tax benefits and rebates to help pay for the system and create additional savings. Oh, and the best part, once the panels are paid off, you're going to have free electricity forever. How does that sound? Awesome. This is the most important paragraph or section in the entire script. It's like telling a joke. You have the setup and then you have the punchline. This is the setup. This is what makes this make so much sense. You're giving people a reason to answer your questions. People will not answer your questions if they don't know what it is you're doing and why it is you're doing it, or for that matter, why you're asking the questions that you are. So you're going to continue. Now, I just have a few more qualifying questions. Are there any large trees that you're aware of that shade your roof? If they say yes, this is what you need to say. If they say no, continue. What type of roof do you have? Is it a composite shingle, wood shingle, clay, tile, or metal? Composite. Okay. Is your roof pitched, or is it tilted, or is it relatively flat? We're starting out with the easy questions first and building upon that. Now, the government incentives that I mentioned earlier are based off your combined taxable income. We also want to figure out what additional options are available to you and make sure you qualify and not waste your time and continue. Fair enough? Great. We're using a tie down. Again, breaking up the monotony, but using a trial close at the same time, testing their temperature. Are they interested or not? If the answer is no, that means we have some work to do to get to where we want to get to. The answer is yes, continue. Okay, ballpark figure. What is your combined household taxable income? Direction. Wait for an answer. Do not say another word until they say something. Now, if it's under $50,000, you need to ask this, because we want to fish for additional income. Each client has a different income requirement. Some don't have an income requirement, others do. If they do have an income requirement, it's going to be $50,000. So if it's under $50,000, we want to find additional income. Okay, does that include any investments and or real estate holdings? No? Okay. If it does not include the real estate holdings, okay, if you added up your investments and added it to your combined household income, what would it be? Okay. Still no. Or yes, are you married? Because this is part of the script. We need to know if they're married or they're not. If they're married, both the husband and the wife must attend the appointment. Now, if it's under $50,000, we're basically asking, if we're speaking to the husband, does your wife work? Yes. Okay, did you include that amount when you gave me your answer? No. Okay, how much does she make? Well, if you said 35,000 and she makes 25,000, that's 60,000 combined, right? That's what we're looking for, the combined household taxable income. Keyword taxable. So if someone is getting Social Security, that is not taxable. We don't include that income. Very important, we get the right answers to these questions. We get paid to provide accurate, complete information. Our clients are not going to pay for half-ass appointments. Learn how to stand these people up and get the answers that you need. All right. And we'll go through that in depth in the training. Now, I have to ask you whether or not you had any credit issues, had any bankruptcies, foreclosures, late payments, or anything like that in the last couple of years. No? Continue. Yes? What were they? Not all credit issues are the same. Some weigh more than others. All right. So notice part 3. We're starting them off with softball, easy questions. They gradually get harder and harder and more personal. These two questions, the income and the credit, is as personal as it gets. All right, we're not asking about banking information. We're not asking credit card information. We're not asking Social Security information. That's as personal as it gets. All right, cool. So we got that out of the way. You seem to be the perfect candidate for this program and take advantage of all the state and federal incentives to go solar. Just so you know what to expect, the agent will be looking at a satellite image of your home and discuss your roof, its condition, and shading if there are any. You're going to need to have a recent copy of an electric bill. The agent will also explain all the options available to you. That way, you're going to have all the information to make an intelligent choice as to whether solar is right for you and your family or not. Is that fair? Again, another tie down, right? We don't want to ramble endlessly. We want to break up the monotony. And we want to use it as a trial close. We're conditioning them. The more that they agree with us, when it comes time to get the appointment, we condition them to agree with us over and over and over again. So they're in that habit. All right. When would be the best time for one of our agents to schedule the appointment with you? Would tomorrow or whatever the next day is? So if today is Monday, tomorrow is Tuesday, or Wednesday be better for you? So is tomorrow or Wednesday better for you? Notice we didn't give them an open-ended question. We gave them choice A or we gave them choice B. We cannot take appointments any more than 5 days out. We try very hard to get them within 3 days. All right, so would tomorrow or Wednesday be best for you? Tomorrow, okay. Morning or afternoon is best. Again, option A or option B? Morning, okay. 9 a.m. or 11 a.m.? Option A or option B? It's the afternoon, 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. If neither, would 7 p.m. work? All right. Now, remember, up here, we asked if they were married. So down here, we're speaking to the guy. Will your wife be able to attend as well? Again, both husband and wife need to be there. So we have a built-in rebuttal if they say no. Okay, now it's time to get their contact information. What is your first and last name? Do not go by the information that's in the dialer for you. Because what if that information's not right? You did all this work and now you stepped on a landmine and you blew yourself up, and you're going to have to work 10 times as hard to save the deal. Don't address them by name unless they tell you what their name is. Here's your opportunity. What is your first and last name? Very important. Can you spell that phonetically? A is in alpha, B is in Bravo, C is in Charlie, etc. The last thing we want to do is get all this information and misspell it. It's number one, it's embarrassing, but number two, it can cost us the deal. They will get pissed off because we're not being professional. Do not be embarrassed to ask them to spell it out phonetically. They expect you to ask it this way. It's the professional way to do it. In the United States, they are conditioned to do it, so don't be embarrassed. All right. John Smith. I have J as in John, H as in Harry, O as in Oscar, N as in Nancy. Smith. S as in Sam, M as in Mary, I as in India, T as in Tom, H as in Harry. Is that correct? Great. And what's your spouse's name? And can you spell that as well? Joan, J as in John, O as in Oscar, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy. And then repeat it back to them. What is the address of the home? 123 Main Street. 123 Main. M as in Mary, A as in Apple, I as in India, N as in Nancy Street. Correct? All right. Moving on. We'd like to call you back and remind you of the appointment. So we don't waste your time or the agent's. What's an alternative phone number, please? We're calling them on their house phone. What's your cell phone? If we're calling them on their cell phone, what's their house phone? What's their wife's phone? What's their husband's phone? What's their work phone? I don't care, but we need to get 2 phone numbers. If we don't, it's not the end of the world, but for every one we don't get, that's 25% chance that the appointment is not going to sit because they're not serious. And the same is true for email. So if you can't get the email, you can't get the secondary phone number, you can't get the wife or husband's name, that's 25% each. So if you can't get all 3, you have a 75% chance that that appointment is not going to sit. Those are not good odds. So we want to get as much information as we possibly can. Again, we're getting paid to provide complete, accurate information. So we have a built-in rebuttal if they don't want to give the secondary phone number. To get the email address, we're saying prior to the call, the agent's going to want to send you some information as well as send you a reminder for the appointment. What is your email, please? Don't say another word until they tell you. Silence. Now, sometimes we have virtual appointments, sometimes we have in-house appointments. If it's virtual appointment, we must get the email so we can send the invitation to the Zoom meeting. All right, to close the call out. Great. Either myself or someone in my office will be calling you back in the next 10 to 15 minutes and confirm the appointment. Please take the call when it comes. Would that be okay? Make sure they say yes to you. We need them to answer the call to confirm the appointment, because if we can't get it confirmed, we can't send it to the client, and the client is not going to meet with them, and nobody gets paid. All of this work that you took to get to this point is wasted if we can't get them to answer the phone. So make sure when you say this, you say it with confidence, energy, and conviction. Almost like you're demanding that they do it. Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'll be calling you shortly to confirm the appointment. That's the script. We're going to be going into it in detail in the next few days. But again, I don't want to throw a whole lot at you and overwhelm you. So let's go through the dialer real quick and show you how that works. Now, by this time, Steven, our IT manager, should have issued you all IDs and login credentials. Each and every day, the first thing that you're going to do is go to this agent validation page. And you're going to put in your assigned ID and your assigned password. You're going to hit submit. And this is going to prevent any dialer issues you may have moving forward, because your IDs are based off of your IP addresses. All right. So we're going to first validate our IP. Then we're going to log into the dialer. Log in.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
If you do not hear that recording, start the process over. You must hear that recording. If you don't, you will not be able to hear the customer. The customer will not be able to hear you. You must hear that introduction recording. Hand side. You are going to be away from your desk for more than a minute. After each call, whether the customer hangs up on you, you hang up on the customer, you must press hang up on the customer. You can't see it on my screen, but there's a missing icon here, and it's quick transfer. You're transferring a call. Do not hit transfer confidence. Only quick transfer. Transfer. Call, find the correct disposition as fast as you can. Next call. Call, disposition it. There you should be set up. You have your logins and your passwords. Your cell phone should be. Recap. Paused. If you hit it, it's going to say you're active. So that's your stop and go button. You're active, you can actually take calls. You're paused, you cannot. Please do not be on pause for more than a minute. If you are, it will create congestion in the system and prevent calls from reaching other agents and other centers. Don't be lazy. Just do us all a favor and log out if you're going to be away from your desk for more than a minute. Again, whether you hang up on the customer or the customer hangs up on you, press hang up and disposition the call to the right disposition as fast as you possibly can. All right. Now, as for closers, your information is going to populate in these fields. Now, there's a good chance that the information is going to be correct. However, you have a 35% chance that it
Now, it might have the wife's name, but you're speaking to the husband. It may say Joan Smith, but you're speaking to Michael. So you're going to back out Joan, and you're going to put Michael in as the first name. You're going to make sure that the address is correct. And you're going to make sure that the zip code is correct. And if you set the appointment, you're going to hit Webform. And all the information that's in the dialer that you just changed is going to populate into the web form. And we'll get to that in just a minute. The other thing I want to mention is there are going to be times where you're going to want to manually dial, call somebody back. As opening agents, we do not allow that option. However, for closers, you have it. So in order to do a manual dial, number one, you must be on paused. And then you're going to hit manual dial. And it's going to give you an option to put in the number. I just want you to copy and paste the number in and hit dial, and it'll dial that number for you. All right, let's get into the web form. So as I said, to open up the web form, you're going to hit the web form on the left-hand side. And then it's going to show you this. First thing, make sure that your name is correct, your ID is correct. The phone number is going to populate. The secondary phone number you're going to type in. The person that you spoke to should be the same as what was on the dialer because you changed it to the correct person. It will automatically populate, as will the last name. The spouse name you're going to type in. The email you're going to type in. The address is going to auto-populate, again, assuming that it's the correct one. I asked you just to put the zip code in. By putting the zip code, the correct zip code in, it's going to populate the city, the state, and the county automatically. You're going to type in how much the average electric bill is, who the utility company is. There's a drop-down menu for shade. There's a drop-down menu for the type of roof. You're going to put in the combined household taxable income. Let's say it was 75K. You're going to put in any specific notes you think will help the deal. For instance, anything weird or funky about the deal. Mr. Jones is hard of hearing. Please speak up and be patient. Mr. Jones has a big oak tree to the right of his front door. He's willing to cut or trim it if it made financial sense. Mr. Jones will have his son Michael there. Michael will help him with his financial decisions. Anything weird about the deal that is noteworthy. You're going to use this calendar to put the date of the appointment. You're not going to type it in. So let's say it was for whatever date, you're going to put that in. It's going to automatically populate. You're going to pick the time of the appointment. And then you're going to hit submit. When you do, you're going to let the QC manager know that you just submitted a deal and copy and paste the information to let them know. So basically, you're just going to hit select all, edit, select all, and then paste into the group chat. And that's it. That's all she wrote. So as long as you populate the correct info in the dialer, the information will transpose. Make sure that you check it to make sure that it is correct. Again, correct name, spelling, correct address with spelling, correct email with spelling. Make sure you're getting the spouse name, you're getting the email address, and all the other required information. Use the calendar to set the appointment and then drop down to select the time. Whatever specific notes, hit submit. And that's it. So that's a brief intro into the closing side of things. Tomorrow you'll have another video to watch, diving a little bit deeper into what it is we're trying to do. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.